And thread by thread, my friends, the country continues to unravel. This is Howard Riell, Riell Truth, chronicling it all for you day after day, month after month. This August will be 11 years, and it continues apace. Item from the Daily Wire. If Nevada's Democratic governor signs a bill passed by the state Senate on Tuesday into law, his state will have moved the national popular vote movement 6 votes closer to effectively nullifying the Electoral College as established in the U.S. Constitution. By a vote of 12 to 8, the Nevada Senate passed AB 186 on Tuesday, which, if signed by Governor Steve Sisolak, will add Nevada's 6 electoral votes to the 189 votes already pledged by 14 other states in the National Popular Vote Interstate Compact, which would, quote, guarantee the presidency to the candidate who receives the most popular votes across all 50 states and the District of Columbia, unquote. If triggered, the pact would override the majority decision of voters in particular states, unquote. So, folks, you thought that just because we had the president of a lifetime, that things were going to be okay. You greatly underestimated the power of the liberal Democrats and their partners, the swamp, and their partners, the media. Let me tell you what happens if more states vote to override the Electoral College. First of all, the Constitution will be flushed down the toilet. And you know how it is. When you undo one part of the Constitution, it makes it easier to undo other parts, right? Like pulling a string out of a shirt. Next thing you know, the arm slides off. It also means that our presidents from here on in will be chosen mostly from New York and California. If the popular vote is all that matters, why the hell would any candidate spend any time in the smaller states? He's going to go to the huge block states. You can throw Ohio into the mix. New York, Ohio, California will probably clinch it. A piece of trash named Hillary Clinton would have been president if we went by the popular vote. So in one fell swoop, we are weakening the U.S. Constitution, which is all that holds us together. We are ensuring that gangsters and slime bags like Hillary Clinton and others will get elected, and that your vote and mine probably will mean nothing. Will mean nothing. We're headed towards monolithic control of the election process. It is bad from several different angles for the United States of America and the American people. And the tide rolls forward always from the Democrat side. The things that weaken this country, that cripple this country, that endanger its citizens, always come from the left. You know, there are only so many times I can tell people, don't vote Democrat. I would hope you would know that without my telling you that. But whether it's open borders, whether it's higher taxes, whether it's the absolutely suicidal Green New Deal, the Democrats are doing everything in their power to drive a wooden stake through the heart of the United States. I hope that you will help me fight them. Because if they win, it's all over for us and our children. Item from Fox News. President Trump on Wednesday demanded Democrats end what he called their, quote, phony investigations before he'll negotiate with them on issues like infrastructure, as he delivered a fiery statement from the Rose Garden after cutting a meeting short with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer. The president had met for mere minutes with the two Democratic leaders in a session scheduled to discuss a possible bipartisan infrastructure package. But moments before that sit-down, Pelosi accused Trump of having, quote, engaged in a cover-up, unquote, regarding the Russia probe, unquote. Folks, you remember those America-hating slime bags I just referred to in the Democrats? Well, Schumer and Pelosi are their leaders. They despise Americans, despise America. That's why they despise Trump. And they are intent on sinking this country by not only not legislating, not only resisting at every step of the way, But by bogging the machinery of government down with endless investigations and requests for information, requests for interviews, and requests for documents, and more investigations, and more leaks, they're doing everything they can, let's call a spade, to sabotage this country, and they're pretty good at it. Because they are cunning sleazebags. That's why they're good at it. Donald Trump came into office wanting to do good for the American people, and the Democrats and their allies in the media are doing everything in their power to stop him from doing good things for the American people. And so Trump is calling a halt to it, and I give him credit. He's absolutely right. There's no sense negotiating with people who hate America and want to bring it down. Those people need to be crushed, not negotiated with. Item. By the way, the first video today is going to be the president speaking at the White House following that aborted meeting with Pelosi and Schumer. Item. From NBC News, New York, a 20-year-old New Jersey man who allegedly sent money abroad to Hamas militants in an effort to support the terror group also spoke of bombing Trump Tower and attacking the Israeli consulate in New York, authorities say. He also spewed hatred against Jewish people, allegedly vowing in an Instagram live video that he would go to a pro-Israel march and, quote, shoot everybody. Now, my friends, by now you're wondering, gee, I wonder what this guy's ethnicity and religion are. The piece continues. The suspect, identified as Jonathan Z, that's X-I-E, of Basking Ridge, was arrested Wednesday morning on charges of attempting to provide material support to a designated terror group, making false statements and transmitting a threat of interstate commerce. Though he spoke of the attacks, authorities say there was no specific plot. Z is expected in federal court in Newark later today. According to a criminal complaint, Z lied in an effort to enlist in the U.S. Army for training earlier this year. Unquote. Now, it seems to me that just a minute ago I was talking about people who hate America and want to bring it down. Well, we're compiling quite a list. We've got the Democrat Party, we've got the media, and we've got Muslims. They form a very sizable army, and I'll use the word army. Not a conventional army, but an army nonetheless. A powerful and destructive army aimed at destroying you and me. And it's our job to stop them. Wednesday, Riell Truth. Be right back.
Visit our website at our install crew transform your backyard. The output is always free. Call me, Brian, at 70460 for a free walkthrough of the best option for your family owned, locally operated, using Southern Colorado for 18. Thank you for your support. Supporting Katie. Before hiring realtor of a big corporation who outsources their job and pays little to no taxes, ask yourself, what is it want a realtor? You need a realtor honest, has integrity. A realtor is focused on the client's bottom line. That's a realtor client. To provide personal, over-the-top service before, during, and after the transaction. You want a realtor that knows how to market your property. Hi, I'm James Morgan, a realtor with Grisham and Associates LLC. I am your Colorado real estate specialist. Land deals, mountain cabins, or urban dwellings, I've got you covered. For the first-time home buyer, we will make it the best experience. If you are looking to move up or downsizing, we will do better than your last transaction. Call me today at 720-203-0731 or visit coloradoproperties.com. stay tuned. College Junction, right here, KHNC.
All right, guys, welcome back. Don't forget, before you go any further, you're going to pick up a copy of Riell Truth Stay Angry online, virtualbookworm.com. You will absolutely love it. By the way, you're going to be reading those books by Victor David Hanson and Mark Levin also. You get a lot of the homework assignments from this show, and you can thank me for them, because each and every one makes you a better person, a better parent, a better citizen of these great United States. Here is President Trump from just a short while ago, maybe an hour, hour and a half ago, when he emerged from that meeting with Chucky Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. Here's what he had to say. And yes, that happens to be the case. His administration is incredibly transparent, in contradistinction to the Obama administration, which was opaque at best.
We have given on a witch hunt, on a hoax. The whole thing with Russia was a hoax as it relates to the Trump administration and myself. It was a total horrible thing that happened to our country. It hurt us in so many ways. Despite that, we're setting records with the economy, with jobs, with the most people employed today that we've ever had in the history of our country. We have the best unemployment numbers that we've had in the history of our country. In some cases, 51 years, but generally in the history of our country. Companies are moving back in. Things are going well. And I said, let's have the meeting on infrastructure. We'll get that done easily. That's one of the easy ones. And instead of walking in happily into a meeting, I walk in to look at people that had just said that I was doing a cover-up. I don't do cover-ups. You people know that probably better than anybody. And I was just looking at a list of some of the things that we just did more than 2,500 subpoenas qualified for. And I let everybody talk. I let the White House counsel speak for 30 hours. 30 hours. I have 19 special counsel lawyers, 40 FBI agents. I said, open it all up. Let them have whatever they want. Nearly 500 search warrants. Think of that, a search warrant. Did you ever see a search warrant before? Neither did I. This was over 500 search warrants. And of the 19 people that were heading up this investigation, or whatever you want to call it, with Bob Mueller, they were contributors to the Democrat Party, most of them, and to Hillary Clinton. They hated President Trump. They hated him with a passion. They went to her big party after the election that turned out to be a wake. Not a party, it was a wake. And they were very angry. These are the people that after 2 years, at $40 million or $35 billion, it'll end up being a lot more than that by the time all the bills are paid. This is what happened. No collusion, no obstruction, no nothing. They issued 50 orders authorizing use of pen registers.
Folks, here's why you should be angry at this. We have a do-nothing Congress, and in any event, the Democrats have stopped. They stopped doing anything except harassing the administration. They're harassing the administration in hopes of gumming it up, of sandbagging it, of slowing it down, of keeping Donald Trump from doing the amazing number of things he's done anyway in over 2 years. He's accomplished more in just over 2 years than most presidents accomplish in 4 or 8 years. Certainly a hell of a lot more than Obama did in 8 years. They want to keep him from doing things for the American people. They want to keep him from solving problems. They want to keep him, in short, from making America great again. And so they're gumming up the works. You're paying them for nothing. You're paying for all the investigations and all the inquiries and all that stuff. They're weakening the United States of America. They're crippling our future. They're not helping make things better. And so you should be angry. These people, the Democrats, are making fools of you. Of you. And this is especially a pungent message for the great state of Colorado, which went for Hillary and went for the Democrats many months ago. They're making fools of the Democrat voters in Colorado. You voted, I believe, for what you think is a way to make Colorado and the United States of America better. Well, first of all, it's a stupid vote. Nothing ever gets better by voting for Democrats. But they're taking your vote, which you thought, at least, was going to make things better, and they say, you know what, we're not making anything better. Our job is to sack the quarterback, and the quarterback is Trump. Our job is to stop him on the goal line and not let him do anything good for the American people. So yeah, you should be pretty pissed at the Democrats by now. I hope you are.
Think of that.
And so even on an infrastructure bill, which, yes, as the president said, you would think it'd be bipartisan because a lot of the country is falling apart. We need to fix it. Pelosi says no. Right before her meeting with Trump, she went out in front of the cameras and slandered him, insulted him, said there's a cover-up when obviously there isn't one. So her goal was to stop cold this meeting about infrastructure. Infrastructure would make America better, and Pelosi won't have it. And Chuck Schumer won't permit it. The Democrats are obstacles to the United States.
They would have loved to have said we.
Folks, again, I sure as hell hope you're angry, because I am. This is the playbook that the media has. They find that 3 calls were made. They were calls for collusion. Donald Trump Jr. is colluding with the Russians. The president's colluding with the Russians. They called the Russians. Well, it turns out they didn't. Had nothing whatsoever to do with the Russians, but they got the headlines out because they think you're stupid. And if you see the headlines, you'll simply believe them. That's part of the strategy. They're partners in the media. They spit out, they blare out the most ridiculous things, untrue things, unverified things, lies. And by the time the truth is known, it doesn't matter because the blockhead Democrat voters across the country have heard them. And in most cases, believe them. To my way of thinking, this is sedition, which is a crime.
Even last night.
Folks, that's a coup d'etat. In other countries, when people attempt a coup and fail, they are executed. So I want to see what's going to happen to the scumbags who have been doing this for over 2 years. I want to see justice done.
And honestly,
Yeah, but the Democrats won't because they don't want drug prices coming down and they don't want the border solidified. Those things would help Americans greatly, and the Democrats simply won't.
so
Yeah, let me interrupt you, Mr. President. We're going to come back to him on the other side of this break. The Democrats are gathering storm clouds about impeachment. Impeachment is impossible. First of all, a president has to have committed a crime, and he hasn't. Second of all, it would have to be ratified by 60 votes in the Senate, which will never happen. So all the talk about impeachment is just more obstruction and more wasted time. Let's take a break, and we'll come back. More Real Truth ahead.
water, and transportation. Computers are operating on power grids and even the cars we drive. In the event of a massive power surge or electromagnetic pulse in the atmosphere, this could render the country completely helpless. The president has just signed the first executive order to identify problems with critical infrastructure in the USA and prepare the United States in the event of a PNP event. The power and water may come back on. Your home and all your computer managed devices may be ruined forever. PNPShield.com has the solution. They offer the world's first full PNP protection device made in America. They can protect your home, office, auto, solar, RV, campers, generators, and list goes on and on. Subscribe to the American Freedom Network. You can enter on call letter KANC into the order code box and receive additional listener discounts. It pays to listen to KHNC. Go to PNPShield.com and find out. Everything makes you what you need to know that. Then we suggest food change. Maybe you should have something for your diet. Maybe you should put this. Then we suggest to everybody. We usually suggest between 2 and 5 days. If you got something you could take, but remember, obligate all of the 888-7654. That's 888-7654. Just set your application.
All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Howard Riell here, and you should know by now, if you want to listen to this show streaming online, all you have to do is go to 1360khnc.com, and you can do so. Let's go back to the president. Once again, he was speaking just about an hour and a half ago from the White House, immediately after exiting a room that contained two of the premier Democrat sleazebags in the country, Schumer and Pelosi. Here's the remainder of the president's comments. Go ahead, Mr. President. So let me interrupt. What if, in case you couldn't hear it, some snotbag journalist stood up and asked the president whether he feels Congress is a co-equal part of the government. Well, obviously it is. We've got 3 co-equal parts of the government. So the journalist is trying to delegitimize what the president is saying. In effect, he's saying if you accept that Congress is a legitimate part of this government, you've got to let them investigate. Well, that's crap, because Congress is overly politicized. It's dishonest. It's not doing the work of the people. It's intentionally working against the function of the United States. Now, I don't know, but I'm willing to guess that that journalist has not asked the Democrats if they believe that the White House is a co-equal part of the government. They don't put questions like that to Democrats, only to Donald Trump, because he's working for us, the American people. And so you've got the media howling like wolves, like hyenas. Journalists, the ones covering Washington, they're not patriotic. They don't want what's good for the American people. They want clickbait. They want controversy so they can become big, big media stars. Folks, these people deserve no respect. They are garbage. They're choosing money and ambition over doing a righteous, honest job of journalism, and that is not to be respected. Item from ABC. Federal prosecutors are expecting to charge Michael Avenatti with additional financial crimes on Wednesday. Sources briefed on the case told ABC News. The new charges will accuse Avenatti of misappropriating money that was supposed to be paid to Stormy Daniels when Avenatti was representing the adult film actress in her public battle against President Trump and his former attorney, Michael Cohen, the sources said. The charges are to be filed by federal prosecutors in Manhattan, who've already accused Avenatti of extortion in a case involving Nike. Unquote. My friends, Michael Avenatti is snot, and the Democrats loved him until he fell afoul of the law, allegedly. But until he did, he was all over the news, all over the media. They were talking about him as a possible presidential candidate. He is snot, and that's what the Democrats want for president. Item from the Daily Wire. Journalists David Daleiden and Sandra Merritt, who exposed suspect dealings at taxpayer-funded abortion mill Planned Parenthood via undercover videos, were denied a request to halt criminal prosecution, a press release from the Thomas More Society said on Friday. Last month, the California Supreme Court issued a stay in the high-profile case based on political bias and selective prosecution. But now the case is moving forward. Daleiden and Merritt were hit with 15 felony charges in March of 2017 for their undercover work. The charges were widely decried for their threats to journalists, including by the left-wing Los Angeles Times. Quote, felony charges are disturbing overreach for the duo behind the Planned Parenthood sting videos, a headline for the outlet warned. Unquote. So Daleiden and Merritt went into Planned Parenthood with hidden cameras and got them to admit the kind of slimy, scummy things they're doing. For example, killing babies and then carving them up and selling their body parts. Instead of being in court defending themselves, these two people should be receiving awards for shining light on the darkest corner of American society. You know, you got the most celebrated journalists covering the White House, and in reality they are scumbags. And you have these two journalists who are doing great things for America, and they are being charged with crimes. The country is bass-ackwards, my friends. We got to straighten it out. We'll be back. All right, guys, welcome back to Riell Truth. Remember, you can listen streaming online, 1360khnc.com. And you can also get my book, Riell Truth, Stay Angry, virtualbookworm.com, amazon.com, barnesandnoble.com. Read it, share it, love it, memorize it. No, you don't have to memorize it, but read it at least. Trish Regan had former Trump White House chief strategist Steve Bannon on her show yesterday, I believe. Interesting conversation. Let's listen in. Yeah, the Biden family apparently took $1.5 billion from China. But listen, don't think that would influence him if he was president. I'm sure he's a stand-up guy, right? Right. Folks, get the enormity of this. China is our largest competitor, our biggest competitor, our greatest competitor. And out of touch, doddering old Joe Biden says, well, they're not a competitor at all. That's the kind of clarity you could expect him to bring to the job if he ever, God forbid, got elected as president. Well, Donald Trump has a great plan, geopolitically speaking, a great plan as far as the American economy. And what do the Democrats have? Racism, collusion, obstruction. Folks, are you really going to vote for that? Really? Well, anybody out there who thinks, yeah, I'm going to vote for that. Here's my incisive analysis. You're an idiot. And you deserve the kind of garbage that the Democrats always give. The only problem is we who are not idiots will get the garbage along with you, which is unfair. All right, take a break, come back, finish up. You know the drill by now. More Real Truth ahead.
Do you remember the energy crisis of the 70s? A lot of people can't. We came up with it in the past 6 months and increased the best way to care. That is the you're at. The best way to inflate the wall. But you're not great. Little steel, diamond, what's left, stuff, what's left. Even if your walls were previously in, the best way to perform is be a the best way to help our country qualify for themselves. 43 years later, a lot has changed. A lot of our competition has used the past, but still family operated. You're still saving our country. Now this name, 303 469 808. That's 303 469 0808. Grandpa Paul and Jeff living on farm in the Front Range of Colorado since 1994. We specialize in guns and currently have 400 guns for sale. We also buy and sell on-end trade in gold and silver, musical instruments, knives, archery equipment, quads, side-by-sides, coins, and a lot more. We buy gun collections and do appraisals with the smart for insurance purposes, shipping regulations. We are for a KTF Colorado semi-automatic gun dealer, and because we have a lot lower overhead than the big box stores, we can beat the big box stores by $25 per gun. And we have the lowest interest rates in what is called half of what the corporate stores charge when you're doing it. How much do you have to grandpa on credit to those guns? Check us out on the web, www.grandpasmom.com or 303-772-7952.
Item from the Daily Mail. A French mayor is offering free Viagra to couples in his town in order to boost the local birth rate. Stop. This is not just a silly news item. This is serious stuff. The birth rate across Europe has been declining for a long time. And so the geniuses there figure, well, we need people, so we'll bring them in from the third world. We'll bring them in from the Middle East and Africa. Great strategy. And now Europe is mostly gone and will be gone completely soon. It'll be a Muslim continent before too many years go by. So rather than stopping immigration, they want more Europeans producing children. They're giving out free Viagra. This is the level of intellectualism in Europe. It's why they hunted Jews for centuries, but welcome in Muslims who really want to slit their throats and take over their countries. And now they're handing out blue pills. Item from Roll Call. A bipartisan team of senators is asking the Trump administration why the convicted terrorist who became known as the American Taliban is about to get early release from federal prison. Unquote. I'd like to know that too. I figure if someone gets arrested for being a member of the Taliban, he should be shot in the head, thrown in the dumpster, and forgotten about. But the laws are what the politicians have made them. Item. From the Smoking Gun, 8 Ohio middle school students could face felony assault charges for allegedly putting bodily fluids in crepes that were consumed by teachers, according to police, who say the young suspects recorded their acts and shared the video with fellow classmates. The suspects are all 14 years old, with the exception of one student who recently turned 15, a police spokesman said. Unquote. My friends, this is not a youthful prank. These kids should all be thrown in jail, and by the way, so should their parents. Item. From the Associated Press, Dateline, Milan, Italy. Italy's interior minister says an immigrant from North Africa has been arrested for an arson fire at a police station in northern Italy that killed 2 and injured more than a dozen. Matteo Salvini announced the arrest on Twitter Tuesday, adding that, quote, eliminating illegal immigration to Italy and Europe is a moral duty. Everyone home, unquote. Mr. Salvini, you're absolutely right, and you're absolutely too late. Item from Breitbart. A controversial French rapper has come under fire for a new video in which he strangles a white woman, symbolizing the country of France, while singing, I blank France, I burn France. Nick Conrad's new song, Do Pays, which means sweet country, contains such lyrics as, well, I'm not even going to read you these lyrics, my friend. I can't even put blanks in there instead of the terrible words and make it sound decent. Suffice it to say, this guy is garbage. He hates Western civilization. He should leave it. Item from the AP. U.S. sanctions on oil-rich Venezuela appear to be taking hold, resulting in mile-long lines for fuel in the South American nation's second-largest city, Maracaibo. Some drivers said they had to wait almost 24 hours to fuel up. And people have been grabbing cat naps on the hoods of cars or in truck beds. Folks, remember this news item. If we ever decide that socialism is a good idea, it's going to be happening here. In fact, socialism may be trendy among low-information voters and ignorant kids, but the fact of the matter is there is nothing whatsoever trendy about it. Socialism leads to poverty, leads to hate, leads to violence. It is proven throughout history. So let's not be that dumb, shall we? Okay, all done. See you tomorrow. More Real Truth ahead. Listen, by the way, stay safe. Stay healthy. Stay angry.